Thank all of you for coming here after lunch and slowly digesting your food while listening to me. I am John Jones. I work for Autodesk. I'm a subject matter expert. I can't say it with a straight face. I'm a subject matter expert for Shotgun, which means I have a lot of experience with it and I'm good at it. And I'm the game specialist on my team. So I'm here to show you just a brief overview of what Shotgun is, what it can do, and some of the new game-specific features that we're rolling out that we think are going to be very exciting. So out of curiosity, how many here have used Shotgun in the past? Excellent. Now, how many of you are producers or in the production track? How many are art leads and art directors? And how many are artists? All right, excellent. That will shape the way that this presentation unfurls. So, Shotgun, fundamentally, is a production management collaborative review tool that at its core is a thin production management layer over your project that makes tracking, scheduling, and reviewing art simple. It's not an asset management tool. It will not move files around on its own. However, Shotgun has an incredibly powerful Python API and extensions and features such as the Shotgun Toolkit, which integrates directly into tools like 3ds Max, Maya, Photoshop, and so on. So artists can actually publish content into their production management system from inside their tools without necessarily knowing what Shotgun is. So fundamentally, Shotgun unifies tracking and communication between your artists and makes sure your producers know who's working on what when it's landing, and making sure that your art directors or art leads are reviewing the work that comes in, and your artists always know what they're working on next. So Shotgun was originally developed in a feature animation context where the team was given a brief to do whatever you can to make us go faster. And they realized that all the typical communication tools like Google Docs, Excel, email, spreadsheets, Dropbox, every communication tool is useful but separate and disconnected. And there's much greater value in being able to unify all this communication under one hood to keep people knowing what they need to work on and never guessing about what's next. And Shotgun over the years has developed into that. And originally came from movies and television, VFX and film, but now but we've also had a significant footprint in games, and this year we're announcing a lot of game-specific features that I hope you'll enjoy. So this presentation is going to be focusing around 3 different personas. The producer, by which I mean anyone doing day-to-day production management work, tracking, scheduling, budgeting, knowing what people are working on, keeping them fed. The second persona is the art director, which is anywhere from like the lead artist all the way up to an art director. Essentially, someone that is the nexus of all visual communication feedback on the project that needs to weigh in on what happens. So that can be anywhere from like a character art lead, environment art lead, up to art director, creative director. Basically, the person who makes final visual decisions. And the third profile is the artist, someone who all they need to know is what their tasks are, what they're working on next, and ensuring that they get their work reviewed in a timely manner. And in this presentation, I'm referring primarily to artists working internally at a studio, but everything you see could apply interchangeably to an outsourced artist anywhere in the world. And I have a background in outsourcing management, and I've used Shotgun extensively. And one of my mics just went out, I think. Or stopped oh, there we go. Something stopped echoing in one ear. Maybe my ear's just dying. That'd be a great thing to happen in a presentation. Slide 3, let's go. So we'll start with the producer persona. Just to show, my goal is to show what the different flows and interactions are between the different users. How does an assignment get to an artist? How does a producer make sure that the art director is reviewing the art that they need? How does the art director ensure they're reviewing the right thing in a timely manner? I show these workflows and how they fit into each other as a project gets more complex. So this is the project overview in Shotgun. It is a Facebook view, chronological, showing the latest media on your project. All feedback, communication, art, information, everything is here at a glance, so you can quickly and easily summarize your project and get a sense of what has happened today, yesterday, and last week. So let's say I want to look at the list of assets in my project and start assigning work to artists. So this is the master asset list of the project that you can view in different configurations, whether you prefer a spreadsheet style or a detail view like this. In this detail view, the assets in your project are in the left column, and you're able to dig directly into the details of that asset. And this is a list of tasks that are associated with it. And you can easily just type in which artist you need to have that assigned to, and it will autocomplete to the name of the artist or the name of the team. And you can make multiple assignments all at once. So as soon as this assignment is made, each of these artists is notified in their Shotgun inbox. Shotgun unifies all this communication, tries to make email relatively irrelevant, because I've been in production management for, gosh, over a decade, and getting in email notifications are difficult to get people to care about. Either they're too few to be useful, or too many to be even remotely possible to sift through. Shotgun is the best solution I've seen for cutting these down to a manageable level, keeping all communication in one stream, so no one ever has to wonder about who said what and when. Was that email? Was that Slack? Was that over lunch? Was that in a hallway conversation? Shotgun, at its best, eliminates email and unifies this communication, so no one wonders how to be fed or where the next assignment is coming from. So, and my cursor is not working. Splendid. So let's say I want to schedule quite a few tasks. And this is very simple. So this is the schedule view of Shotgun, which is a master list of all the tasks in your project mapped out on a Gantt chart and grouped by the asset to which they're associated. So I've set up dependencies on these tasks and that are linear. So as soon as I set that first start date, the subsequent start and end dates for everything else in that dependency chain are automatically set. And you can do that as a batch process. So you can very quickly add assets to your project and immediately see where they land on your schedule. You can drag, and on the Gantt chart, you can expand, contract, to drag them around. Basically, you're able to make immediate, actionable, visual changes to your project very simply. You don't have to click through a million menus to find it. And one of the features I love in Shotgun is called task templates. So rather than creating each individual task for every asset, if you have pipelines you understand, like a character pipeline or environment pipeline, like a reference, concept, block-out, like a high-res sculpt material, and game-res mesh materials, and so on, if you understand your pipeline and those steps, you can create those as a template to apply to any asset instantly. You can import from your spreadsheets on your project. So you can very quickly expand a project and schedule it with very little input on your part, just by using Shotgun's basic organization and logic. And now, the artist view. So the artist sees all updates and comments on their work in the Shotgun inbox. And all their tasks live on the My Task page. So in this inbox, you can sort by different types of notes, right? Whether they're read, unread, whether it's like an internal note only if you're working with outsourcers, whether it's a note meant for external people. Basically, that replaces email for getting all your assignments and feedback. Now, going in a little bit deeper, this is the Shotgun toolkit, and which is what I mentioned earlier about the app integrations. So if you download a Shotgun desktop app, it will search your hard drive for 3D Studio Max, Maya, Photoshop, Houdini, Nuke. I think we're up to 15 or 20 different integrations, and link Shotgun to that. So for example, inside of Maya, we have the Shotgun panel. So the artist is inside of their tool, and they're seeing the history of that asset. They're seeing all the tasks associated with it, all the previous feedback, and they're able to use the Shotgun file loader to automatically find the most recent version of a file, and then they can submit that file, take a screenshot inside of Maya, and publish it directly back to Shotgun on the web. So in some workflows, the artist literally never needs to leave their tool. They don't necessarily need to know that Shotgun exists. It's all inside, being shunted inside of their tool, and it carries across. This can become extremely complex, but this is basically run a script, install it, configure a couple of things out of the box. Very simple, very effective. Especially because a great deal of my experience is getting artists to learn to use new tools that they really don't want to, and that's a very special skill set. So the closer you can get to the tools they actually use, the easier it is to get them to onboard them into your way of thinking. And Shotgun gives you a lot of wonderful options for being able to get mass buy-in. And the Shotgun toolkit is one of the most powerful features that I've seen come out to that effect. daily. So dailies. Dailies are important, but organizing and capturing it has a significant cost. Unfortunately, Shotgun makes dailies extremely simple. By going to the Media tab, you're looking at all the most recently submitted art in your project. You can select which ones you want, and then right-click and create a playlist from the selected. So you just name that Dailies Week 25 or whatever the date is. And people can go to Shotgun and see the list of the dailies in that playlist, or they can send a link to someone else to be able to go to that directly. So you can open up on your dailies machine and start capturing feedback immediately. So again, because most of the places I've worked, capturing dailies is a matter of getting the least lucky person in the building to start combing through the latest versions of all the art from everyone, going desk to desk, sending pestering emails, creating a tremendous amount of extra work that is thrown away essentially every day. Whereas in Shotgun, it's literally a matter of seconds. Collect what you want, show it off, and you can repeat that easily every day. And that has replaced that person's job with a series of scripts. Which, isn't that really the ideal? I'm very sarcastic. And if you don't use the app integrations from the Shotgun toolkit, an artist simply goes to My Tasks, sees what they've been assigned, then they create a new version for review, and they select files from their hard drive and add a brief description just to provide context for their lead that's going to be reviewing that content. And once that's published, the art lead is notified. That goes into the main Shotgun overview page. It's on the Media tab. There's no concept of syncing in Shotgun. As soon as you save something or do something, it is universal. It is saved. It is live to everybody. So as soon as this is saved, the art lead is notified, and a person did not have to manually go tug on someone's sleeve saying, "Hey, go review this." Shotgun manages the communication itself, and people understand where communication comes from and where it goes. They're fed very simply. So let's switch over to the art director persona. Most of my career has been working side by side with art directors, and they have a million different styles. Some art directors are glued to their desks. Some art directors are glued to your desk. Some art directors are out and traveling, or maybe they do their best work late at night at home on a mobile device. Shotgun can accommodate all of these things, no matter where your art director or creative director is. So an art director reviewing work is simple. So let's say they open a playlist like the dailies I put together. And actually, that's a fun thing about PowerPoint. Sometimes spacebar plays the video, sometimes it skips to the next slide. There's no consistency. I prefer Google. So art director's reviewing work is simple. He says for the second time. So the art director gets notified, he sees in his inbox there's something ready to review. You can do inline paint overs inside the web in Shotgun and leave a combination of like text in the image, scribble over it, leave a written description, and they go through the playlist. They're able to quickly capture the feedback that they need to give, and as soon as it's submitted, the artist is notified. And we also have an iOS app for mobile review, and in case your art director really is the kind of person that just prefers to direct things on the go. There's nothing extra you have to do. Shotgun review is the same no matter where you are, your desktop, like an iPad, Android tablet, like on the web, or the native iOS app. Shotgun is wherever you are with review, and extracting that review from the important stakeholders can really make or break a project. And Shotgun makes this simpler than any tool I've ever used. Like I had this job because I was a fan, not because I say things like this. I already said things like this. So, and this is one of my favorite killer features, the client review site. So many of you, I'm sure, have worked with third parties like external licensors and IP holders that have some kind of approval process over what you are producing. Or you may simply be working with a publisher and going from milestone to milestone, just unlocking payments as you go. But in creating that deliverable for them to review for these approval processes can be kind of difficult. It has fallen on to me in the past to save the latest versions of all these assets, send them off to legal, for example, or our IP holder, wait an indeterminate amount of time, process their feedback in whatever form they choose to give it, and then manually input that back into my system. And that's for my internal artists to see, and that's just a pain. So the client review site simplifies this tremendously. It allows you, that time it has spacebar, went to the next slide. So this is where Shotgun's client review site comes in. You create a playlist just like you would with dailies, but you use a share link to send them to a different site that is connected to your Shotgun site, but it is specifically curated only to show what you want to show them. It does not show them any internal communication, doesn't show them any of the previous iterations or feedback or anything that might have gotten weird or gone wrong during development. They don't get to see any advanced scheduling information. You're literally choosing from inside Shotgun what you want them to see and sends them a link via email. Log into Shotgun or know what it is, but they have the same tools as the art director to be able to give their feedback and communicate that back into the same communication stream. And those notes can be flagged and hidden from your internal artists in case your creative director's feedback needs to be sanitized before, and you all know what I mean. So the client review site, honestly, when I first started using Shotgun, I needed that so much. That's why I sell it so hard now. So now let's get into customizations. I want to draw a clear distinction between what is a heavily customized Shotgun instance and, oh, did I lose a mic?
Don't worry, you're fine. Just start using this, and I'll switch over.
Okay. I talk with my hands, and I slapped a mic off. So I want to draw a distinction between customizations and features because I've talked to a lot of people that use Shotgun that do not recognize a new Shotgun instance because it is so deeply customizable. So what I'm about to be showing you is ways to customize Shotgun as a response to project complexity. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll be showing the specific new features that build into that. So producers in games typically live their lives from milestone to milestone. We understand that. And so we provide a powerful filtering system inside of Shotgun that is accessible on virtually any page. So here I'm looking at all the tasks on my project, and I want to filter that down. So I have a saved filter for all tasks due by May 1st. I toggle that on, the page updates instantly. Let's say I want to switch to tasks due in the next 2 weeks. I can immediately switch to that. And you can build very simple logic like this. Show me every task whose due date is in the next 2 weeks, or any series of conditions like that to boil it down to only interesting, actionable data that you need. And this is available on virtually every page in Shotgun. And you can have these be personal filters or universal to the rest of your team. So if you're like the executive producer or lead producer, for example, and you have production staff inside of Shotgun, you can lay out these filters for them to use to be able to see the kind of views that you care about or that you need them to be focusing on. So you can deeply customize individual pages, and this is just the first step. And if you'll see down on the right, you can also filter by status and show everything that is final or ready to start. So you're never more than a handful of clicks away from the actionable, useful, interesting data that you need to see regardless of the scale of your project. So more customizations. On large projects, I like creating a custom dashboard for my different user types. So what you're seeing here is a custom dashboard I created for a lead environment artist. In the top left, you see the environment art team. On the right, you see a filtered view of every environment task that is due in the next sprint. Below that, all the versions that are ready for the lead environment artist to review. And on the right, all the content that is currently waiting on outsourcing using color-coded conditional formatting. So bright pink means it is late by a certain amount of days because of logic I set up. So I like creating different dashboards for my different users to filter data like this. So on the versions ready for review in the bottom left, that is filtered to show only versions that have not been viewed or approved and that are attached to assets of the type environment. Because your environment art lead doesn't need to see animation, they don't need to see characters, they don't need to see vehicles. And if they see anything in their review, they're gonna think, this isn't for me, this is not my data. Why is this filtering into my view? Just show me what I need to work on. And so I set up these different dashboards for my different user profiles as a means of ease of onboarding, but also just helping them focus and filter down on only what they need to see. Control of information and filtering is incredibly powerful, especially as a project gets larger and larger and more potentially unwieldy over time. Shotgun has a wide variety of tools that help manage this complexity, no matter how big a project gets. And we have seen stunningly large projects like that we were kind of surprised but proud that we were able to handle. So this is even deeper customization. I want to shout out to my friend and colleague, Tommy Kaiser, for putting together this part. So we are going to show off action menu items. Shotgun's API provides limitless options for automating your workflow. So for example, you can call external scripts from right-click menus using action menu items, or set up an event listener to trigger scripts automatically. And so one of our customers actually runs their entire build system through Shotgun. It's an equal mix of genius and masochism that made it work, but, essentially the Python API in the backend gives you virtually limitless possibilities for integrating with all of your existing tools. And we also have a war chest of scripts available for that to help you get started. And here are events. And spacebar has betrayed me once again. So events. We provide a Python-based event listener called Shotgun Events that clients can download and configure from Shotgun's GitHub repo. We have more than 25 fully documented and customizable example plugins included. And they add functionality to Shotgun that solve many common workflow challenges. So here are a few examples. So this task gets marked as final. The next task in that dependency chain is automatically marked as waiting to start. And when you mark that as final and refresh the page, if that is the last final task on that asset, you can automatically trigger the status of the asset to be finished. So you can build it. You can build in simple automatic logic like that, in a Shotgun that essentially does that work for you as long as you do just a basic bit of planning at first. And this helps maintain scalability to a ridiculous extent. And community and dev training. So if you want to add automation to Shotgun-based workflows but don't know how, we have a great set of developer training videos that can help you get up and running quickly. So you can, this might be displaying the wrong video. Excellent, I was up very late. So you could access our developer portal at developer.shotgunsoftware.com. I always feel a little funny saying our community is great because that's what everybody wants to say. But frankly, when I was starting out with Shotgun on my own, I relied tremendously not only on the Shotgun Street team, who are all like former developers, artists, producers from every industry, but also the vibrant community of people that are sharing information, sharing tips, sharing scripts, that really helped me get started in a way and made me successful in a way that I don't think I could have otherwise. So I always strongly, strongly emphasize how awesome and sharing our community is for anybody that needs assistance, and how welcoming and available our street team support are for any problems that you have. So now, get into the fun, meaty parts. New features. So one of the most common difficulties on a project is managing always increasing complexity. Shotgun already provides powerful tools to manage that data, but it's one thing to manage that data, but something else entirely to understand what you're seeing, visualize it clearly so you can make informed production decisions. To that end, we developed Production Insights, a massive expansion of our customizable widgets and Canvas pages. So we provide a wide variety of preset graphs to start immediately graphing interesting data on your project, like sprint velocity, task burn down, task status over time, status of all tasks broken down by department, and like weekly time logs per department. So what you're seeing here is still an eensy bit in the future, but these are things that we've been actively developing and testing, to be able to respond and better to larger and larger projects that have the kind of complexity and data needs that you really have to dig in deeply. So Shotgun has really never been better equipped to give you more actionable, interesting, customizable intelligence than right now. And I've been following this extremely excited and with extreme joy for a long time, because I'm a big data nerd and I've run large projects in Shotgun, and this tells me so many wonderful things. And I'm really excited to see people digging into it and seeing how they use it. And when managing large production data sets in Shotgun, you're absolutely going to want to start performing calculations on it. Like, there are numbers. Let's do fun things with numbers. We've used Excel. The producer people here know what I'm talking about. I want to math things. There are numbers. So we now have calculated fields, which is such a fun thing to dork out about, but it's so incredibly useful. So for example, in this scenario, let's say I'm an outsourcing manager, which is what I've been and done many times. I want to start tracking my spend on my outsourcers. So I know how much they have bid, and I know how much work they've actually logged against that work, against the work that they bid on, so I can find out their over and under. But I'm also working with finance, so I want to find out, okay, how much of this work has been invoiced, how much has been paid, and how much is outstanding, so we can get just at least a rough sense of financial forecasting, so I can just drop a link to this into my finance department so they know exactly where we are for the month. And creating calculated fields and to calculate these and automatically update them is now possible and super cool to do. I've been waiting for this for years. I'm so happy. So production insights are available now. Burn down charts are coming soon. And calculated fields, the public beta will be available in Shotgun 7.8. So, and in part 2 from Tommy Kaiser, this is another one of our most requested features, Jira integration with Shotgun. So Jira is firmly established as a tracking and reporting solution at many game studios, but Shotgun fills in gaps where many art-focused teams are currently underserved by Jira. To make this a peaceful and happy coexistence, Shotgun is building an integration between Shotgun and Jira that bridges these two services, allowing critical data to be synced back and forth. Supervisors on the art side can create and track assets in Shotgun and have them sync to Jira where producers can schedule them. Then updates to project data on the Jira side can flow back to Shotgun as well. And just seeing this work is magic. We've been asked about this so many times, and this is happening now because everybody uses Jira. It is excellent at what it does. Shotgun is excellent for what it does, and now they can actually talk to each other in a way that makes sense. And if you're interested in providing alpha feedback on the Jira integration for your project, ask us. Email us, support@shotgunsoftware.com. So the Jira integration is in private alpha. Talk to us if you're interested. The REST API is in private beta, and webhooks are currently in progress. We'll have more to speak about those at another date. So that is what's new in Shotgun and Games. Does anybody have any questions? Not sure if that guy's leaving or coming to answer a question. So if nobody has any questions or comment, oh, there we go.
So Shotgun, generally speaking, has been used in a kind of a flat version space, post-production mode in game companies. And there is a Perforce integration for Shotgun right now. But there's been the rise of a really interesting thing that we've seen at this show, and it's now talking about like in the Unity sessions, the what do they call the prefab, that sits in between the DCC and the engine. And so it was really kind of an interesting, and we've been grappling with this at our studio too, as to how to make that integration between systems like Unreal in our case, where you have kind of an asset that has a dual life, right? It's in the content folder and also outside in the DCC, but they want to be very tightly synced. How are you guys thinking about that? Is that kind of coming into the consciousness of the Shotgun team?
Absolutely. I know offhand some of our clients have been working on their own Unity and Unreal Engine integrations, and as I recall, a month or two ago, Epic announced that they're offering a Python support in the Unreal Engine, which is going to make it much easier than ever to actually integrate Shotgun directly with an engine like that. So frankly, getting that deep level of an integration was going to require some internal engineering time. And of course, we have support available. We have many sample scripts and an encyclopedia of knowledge of how these things are rolled out in different organizations. And one of the more interesting integrations I saw with a proprietary engine was, so on the previous slide, I showed how you can create a right-click action menu script. Someone basically used that to launch their game engine to the exact physical coordinates inside the world of the asset that they were looking at, so they're able to immediately jump in 2 clicks from Shotgun into the engine, looking at it, and then jumping back. So it can get very tight, and with Unreal, once they open up with Python, or if there's an integration that someone decides to release or open source, it's really only going to get easier, and that's increasingly a smart way to go. Any other questions? There we go.
We produce a lot of animation and for character animation, and dailies is quite painful because playbasts have to be done, and the examples for the dailies that you shown were mostly static images. How does that work for animation?
Actually, it works exactly the same. I just happen to be using stills in that particular instance. Shotgun was built to be able to process video very simply and cleanly. So in the case of showing the dailies before, imagine that each of those actually was an animation. When you're going to view those, when you're looking at each individual version, it plays the entire animation, and you can pause it and annotate each individual frame that you want to create feedback for, and then just go in the same way through each version inside that playlist. So fundamentally, there's no difference between giving feedback on that inside of Shotgun, whether it's a still or whether it's animation. If anything, Shotgun handles animation even better than stills, just because it came from movies and film and television, and its survival literally depended on it. So I have a tremendously high confidence in Shotgun and managing video in that respect. Any other questions?
Since we're talking about animation, if you had, say, 5 run cycles or animation cycles, but they all have your head and tail on them, and you want to send them to the client but take those out, is there a way to do that in your playlist currently, or are you guys working on that?
So you're talking about like a cutting from within, like a single video and showing just that segment?
I'm
Or-
talking about taking out the head and tail, sorry, I'm thinking, the bookends. Basically, you have
Oh,
your
sorry, yeah.
frames, your extra frames. You want to take those out so they can see it in the actual runtime, not all the frames that the editor usually sees.
So I haven't personally gone deep enough into Shotgun to get to that level of detail. However, actually, Eli, if you could give me hand gestures, would the cut support play into this at all? To be able to set the time codes for specific for that.
In terms of being able to send to a client, you're going to send to the client the same version that you've uploaded. So
Right.
you've uploaded handles that you send to the client.
So there's no way to currently take out handles or.
You can change the way you view things in Shotgun. So Shotgun, you can set what the handles are in Shotgun. So you can look at it without the handles. But if you're sending it off to someone else to look at, then they're going to see the whole thing.
Right. So short answer, no, not yet.
Short answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions? Well, if that's all from everybody, thank you so much for coming and listening to me geek out about production management software.